Hey, what's up, my people? So today is Friday, the 25th of October, 2024. Um, it's been a little minute since I made a video. Um, God's told me to step back a little bit, and so I had to get further definition to what that meant, and now I know it simply means to stop putting all of my personal business out there, should I say. It's okay for me to put edifying content out there, but my focus going from now on is to kind of like um, stay narrowed in on biblical truths, principles, and things like that, and kind of take my personal life out of it. And the reason why is because the enemy is slick. And so the Lord has been telling me, without saying too much, it's just too much wickedness out there. People don't want to see you move forward and things like that. And people have monitoring spirits hovering over them, and they come to your pages or try to figure out what's going on in your life so they can curse it and things like that. So from now on, I actually enjoy telling you guys, things going on in my life so you can kind of see the progress, and so I can tie things in. But I see now that, unfortunately, I just can't do that anymore, right? So again, without saying too much, I'll let you just read between the dots on that, right? But so as you see from this video title, Real Talk, Real Talk, right? I'm starting to see the big picture now, right? From my life, as far as everything that's been going on in my life, as far as what God has been letting me see and experience, and the prophetic and revelational words that He's been giving me, and how everything ties in collectively. A big picture is starting to formulate, man. Like as far as the prophetic word concerning the future of this nation, right? And it's interesting, man. Again, for the past few months, I step back and I look at everything, and now not only that, the words is coming to me now. I see how everything is just starting to tie in together, man. And it's deep. It's deep, man. Now I understand why He's allowed me to experience things, why He sent prophetic words to me, revelations to me, and then other prophets as well, to confirm it, right? These different words, these different prophecies, and now I'm beginning to see the bigger picture, like I said. So I was prompted to come on here and give you this word today. Before I do that, though, so if you're not a Christian, then what I'm saying to you is not necessarily going to resonate, because you probably haven't read the Bible that much to fully grasp the meaning behind what I'm about to say, right? But if you are a Christian, then this should resonate with you, and hopefully it brings more clarity to you, right? Because hopefully you've read the Bible and you understand exactly what I'm about to say. So prophets, it's a scripture that Jesus said in the Bible, a prophet is not honored in his own home and it's amongst his own people, right? And it's a reason behind that, right? One, I can imagine, so when Jesus went back home, and the Bible says he couldn't do many mighty works there, because the people there, in essence, they felt like they knew him. Like, isn't that, such and such brother, and isn't his mother Mary, and Mary and dang, that's crazy. I forgot Jesus' father. Daddy name was Joseph. Now I'm gonna have to look that up. That's ridiculous. I feel embarrassed. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is this. And I'm not going to redo this video neither because I'm human and you mess up sometimes. So the point that I'm trying to make is this, right? The reason why he couldn't do mighty works there is because, like, I envision them people in his hometown looking at him like, man, this the same little boy that used to run around in a Kool-Aid stained shirt, crying with snot, running down his nose, and now he come here and all this noise is being raised up about him healing people and all that. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? Because it said that they took offense to him, right? So like they had unbelief. So therefore he couldn't do mighty works there, right? So I'm gonna use me for a minute example, right? Because I'm in no way on the level of Jesus, never. You feel me? But so like, okay, so God gave me the prophetic gift. I didn't ask for this gift. I didn't ask for it. And the first time I did something that was prophetic was back when Aaliyah died, and then 9/11, like a couple of weeks after that, right? Those was my first things that I did that was prophetic, and I didn't even know what it was at the time. I was baffled, right? But like, God uses the least suspecting people, right? And then not only that, he gives people gifts and talents, prophetic gifts, preaching and pastoring gifts, discerning between spirits. And these are people walking around every day, right, in regular clothes, looking like your average Joe, that they have these gifts. So people, technically, if you read the Bible and you know just life in general and you put everything together, you shouldn't be surprised, right? But again, people look at me and they probably like, oh, you went to prison and this and that, and I know this about you, or you done this to me, or whatever the case is, right? And how dare you try to say that you're a prophet now, right? Or why should I believe the words that you're talking about, right? And one token, you're like, okay, that's respectable. But then on the other token, if you are a Christian and you read the Bible, then you understand that God uses people. Like David, he was a murderer, right? Like all the main people, Moses, he was a murderer, right? Like, so all these different people that God uses in the Bible, it shows us that he uses unsuspecting people, flawed people, right? So that right there should just kill everybody understanding on it, right? And then Jesus himself, his story showed you what I just told you about when he went back to his city, right? They didn't welcome him, right? And he wasn't able to do mighty works there because of their unbelief, right? So we have these clear examples. That's why I say the Bible is the blueprint of life. We have these clear examples that's supposed to teach us, right? And supposed to give us examples on how we supposed to deal with other people, view ourselves, accept other people, right? Flawed people, because no one is perfect, not even you, right? So we have a tendency, though, to look at other people and their faults, and the negative that they've done, or that we know about them or heard about them, or whatever the case is, and narrow in on that, or try to belittle people, right? And not give them the credit that God would have them have, right? Like, because we judge them. All kind of different things, but I don't want to get too far into that, right? The main thing that I wanted to hit on this point is that prophets, if you're a real, genuine prophet, then you're not supposed to be out there giving all these different words about prosperity and good times and it's time to party. Like, that's a false prophet, because that's not what God is about. God has many things to say, and it's not constantly about prosperity and everything's good. The sun is out and it's a sunny day, right? If you have somebody constantly doing that and they professing to be a prophet, they're lying to you. That's to me, that's like a clear sign that you're dealing with a false prophet. Because if you're an actual prophet, then God is going to be giving you words, and sometimes those words are going to be rough, strong, and direct in your face type of words. So I say all that to say this, right? You have to have tough skin when you're dealing with a prophet. Don't take offense to it. You have to have tough skin. You have to take it for what it is. Receive the message, pray about it, right? Correct yourself if you need to, if the word applies to you, right? And move on with your life. But that don't mean shun the messenger, right? That don't mean hate the messenger or lash out at the messenger, right? Um, Again, God is speaking through his people. So in essence, when you shun his prophet, right? He says, do not shun my prophets, right? Listen to my prophets. Because why? Because that's his word coming through his prophets. So if you deny his prophets, his messengers, then you're, in essence, you're denying him. You're denying his word, right? And he's trying to warn you. He's trying to correct you through his prophets. Take heed. Don't get offended. I understand that, you know, if you hearing about your life and you think you're doing right, and then you got somebody come along and like, you're not doing right. God says this. Thus says the Lord, right? Don't nobody really want to be checked, right? Don't nobody want to have somebody come up and tell them that they're not doing right, right? Especially if you don't even know this person. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? So I understand that. But you got to step back and really examine the word and pray about it and correct yourself, because God is trying to correct you. It's for your own benefit. You want to be in right standing with God. So it's very critical that you take on the right perspective in relation to his prophets and the words that he sends through his prophets, right? So anyway, and to that note, like, as a prophet, man, and the words and the strong words that God gives me, I don't even like speaking these words. I don't even like it. I told you that many times before. But I got to be obedient. I got to do what he says to, to do. I would love to be talking to you guys about the sun is out and prosperity this and yeah, let's go party, right? Respectfully, right? Godly, right? But that's just not the case. That's just not how God works, and that's not what God is calling us to do, especially in the times that we're living. Now, if we were living in different times where everybody was in accordance with God and everything, then yeah, I'm sure he would be telling his prophets, yeah, tell my people I'm proud of them. Tell them I love them. Tell them I'm about to bless them and keep on blessing them and just keep on holding on strong, whatever. Keep on, stay up under my wing and I got you, right? Don't go astray, whatever. Sometimes he might have a little strong word come, but it might be something minor like check this and check that. But we're just not in that. We're not in that reality, right? We're in a opposite reality. Like, it's chaos. It's the level of sin that's out there. Like, so yeah, you're going to have a lot of strong words. That's why I say if you have a prophet that's trying to tell you that the sky is blue and the sun is out and the birds are chirping every day, they're lying to you. They're a false prophet. They're on there probably trying to get your money or something like that, especially if they asking you for money. If the Lord is telling you to sow to this platform, then do what your heart is telling you to do, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've never asked any one of y'all for some money, and I never will. Never will. God's word is free. You hear me? God's word is free, right? So you would never hear that coming out of my mouth. Not to say that it ain't some prophets out there, some ministries out there, right, that's on like platforms like YouTube and things like that, to where like they've submitted their whole life and that's what they do, right? The worker is worthy of, their wages, right? So in that sense, it's cool, you know what I mean? And I subscribe to some prophets who actually do that, and you can kind of glean someone who's real, someone who's fake, someone who's just trying to swindle people out of their money, you know what I mean? So I don't want to blanket that across the board on everybody, right? I don't want y'all to leave away with that. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't ask people for money, right? So anyway, let me get to some things, man. Let me get to some things, because this is about to be deep. This is about to be deep, y'all. So I've been placing a lot of content on my page. A lot of it's concerning the election. A lot of it's concerning demonic spirits and things like that, and how to recognize them, how to combat them, right? So I'm about to cover a few different topics in depth. So you might want to tune in and watch this entire video, because it's definitely going to be edifying for you, right? Okay, so where to start? So I'm going to start with the family. Like, God has been ministering to me about demonic spirits, wicked spirits, how they operate, how the spiritual realm operate, how they enter into the picture, right? All these different things. And I've been picking up pieces here, pieces there. It's a gentleman that I posted several videos on my timeline from him. He gave me some further insight, you know what I mean? Some pieces. And then as I was watching him, I personally regained further revelation on different things and how things tie in, right? So, man, like, again, he's allowed me to go through things and experience things and come across things to paint the picture for me. And everything is starting to come together. Like I said at the start of this video, the big picture is starting to come into play, man. And like, it's like my brain is just mushroomed out into this godly wisdom, man. And it's all about edifying you, edifying myself, edifying you, right? So we can be strong moving forward, man, because what's coming upon this nation in this world, we have to be equipped. We have to be equipped. And it starts with the family. It starts individually and it starts with the family, right? We have to huddle up. It's a season of huddling up and getting it together. And it starts with the family, right? Like, this is critical that you get this. And I got some very edifying stuff that I'm about to lay upon you, right? So let me unpack it, and then we're gonna get down to business with it, right? So, family curses, right? We call them generational curses, right? That's passed down, right? Demons, wicked spirits. We're just gonna call it what it is, right? They are the reason why, or they are the definition of family curses, right? They are what's behind it. They are what's behind the family curses, demonic spirits, right? And they get passed down generation to generation, right? So the times that we are in now, and listen, again, this can get strong at times, and it's gonna get risque at times, right? It's gonna be in your window, in your face at times, right? But this is a word that needs to go out, right? So again, don't shoot the messenger. Take what you need to take from it and throw away the rest, right? So the times that we're in, it's sad because a lot of generation curses has went down throughout generations, and you have adults that are inflicted with these generational curses, and they passing it on to their kids. They're slipped, like society has slipped at large. It has mushroomed out into the world like a virus that's behind the scene, and it's the spiritual world, right? That's affecting the physical world that we live in. And there's things that's going on in the spiritual realm that is plaguing our world, our physical world, in a way that we don't even see. We don't even recognize it. We're so blind right now. It's ridiculous. But hopefully this teaching right here is going to give you further clarity and allow you to check yourself, check your family, all that, and start to move in the opposite direction. And that is to get things on course, right? On the right course in relation to God, in relation to your spiritual well-being, right? And your future prosperity in Christ, right? So here we go. Okay. So first of all, you have different spirits that's connected to generation curses, right? You have a spirit of lust. You have a spirit of lack. You have a spirit of hate, spirits of perversion, spirit of stagnation, spirit of poverty, right? That's just to name a few. But it's like each different thing. This is what you need to understand. Each different thing, right? Each different affliction, should I say, has its own different spirit that's controlling it, right? You have the spirit of death, right? The Holy Spirit is the spirit of life, right? So you have these different spirits that govern these different things, right? Okay, so now I'm about to show you this this illustration that I came up with, and I'm gonna break it down to you. But I'm about to turn this video around. Hopefully I don't turn this off in the process. Man, I hope I don't turn it off. I don't want to even mess with it. I'm about to just take this up, and I hope that y'all can see it. But I'm about to keep it at this angle and just point it at this paper, right? Hold on. I want to make sure it's right. I'm trying to look at it at the same time. So, okay. Dang, man, I can't get it right. Hold on, let me see. Okay. So, generational curses. All right, so you have family 1, family 2, family 3, family 4, right? Okay. So, let's break this down. All right, so as you see, some of the families, they have the circles filled in dark. Some of them it's not. Some of them's filled in dark or whatever, and then some of them's filled not filled in. But then you have the family tree how it branches out, and then this one's dark, this one's dark, and then over here you have like a good mother and father. These are mothers and fathers, right? And then this, because you have households where you just have the mother or you just have the father, so it's one parent households, right? Okay. So, and again, you have two. I'm just gonna call them good and bad, right? And when I say good, that means that they are living for Christ. They're Christian. They're in right standing with God, right? They're on a righteous lifestyle under Christ. And then these, they are opposed to God, right? Whether it's due to a family curse and nobody's showing them Christ, whether them blatantly turning their back on Christ, whatever the case is, however you fit into this category, you fit into it, right? So again, you just apply your own life and your own personal experience to which one you actually fall into and which one you can resonate with. But irregardless of which one you fall into, the teaching is what I want you to get out of it, right? So that's what you need to pay attention to. So here we go, right? But the point I was making here is you have two good people, and then let's say their daughter or their son branch out from them, right? And then somehow they turn bad, right? And then over here you have you have the same situation. And then over here in this one parent household, you have all their kids turned out bad, and even their grandkids, right? And when I say turned out bad, I mean that they don't have anyone in their family or anyone in their life that showed them the right way to live in accordance to God's truth, which is the only way to heal us, right? Jesus Christ's blood coming in him and accepting him into your life is the only one way to become righteous in this life. I don't care what you do in your flesh that might seem to be good in your eyes or other people's eyes. You can feed 100 million orphans, right? But if you're not covered under the blood of Christ, those works are useless in God's eyes, right? Because you haven't been covered under the blood of Christ, right? So in essence, even if you've done all that good stuff, you could still be a black dot, right? Because you're not covered under the blood of Christ. So I want y'all to make sure when I say good or bad, right, that you don't get offended like, well, I'm not bad. Well, if you're not under the blood of Christ, then you're not good, because no one is good, no one is righteous unless you're covered under the blood of Christ. Period, right? So I just wanted to highlight that part, right? So again, okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so you have family 4. Both parents go to church. They raising up a godly a godly family. They have 4 kids, right? So just because they raise just because it's a godly family, don't mean that their two, or as you see, 2 of their kids are black. You know what I'm saying? They're filled in black, right? Which means that they turn bad. That means that they turn sour. 2 of them is still white, and then their kids is good. And then this one over here and this one over here, one kid that they had is black, and one is not filled in, which means that they are covered under the blood of Christ. Now, what does that mean, right? So what that means is this. All right, so I'm gonna use this scenario, right? So let's say this is a guy, and he partnered with someone, right? He partnered with someone who had generational curses spirits attached to them. So his wife, right, came from a family like this, right? So let's go ahead and match them up, right? So her curses, right? Generational curses, it could be lack, it could be lust, it could be perversion, stagnation, whatever the case is, but she came with these spirits and they slept together, right? And therefore she transferred these spirits onto him through their linking up, because when you become one with your mate, you become one. You share everything with your mate, right? So therefore, they had 2 kids. They affected they affected one kid, right? The generational curses, those spirits transferred into one of their kids. This kid, the reason why I left them with a circle is because, let's say their grandma and let's say their auntie took favor to this kid. And they was like, this kid went over to grandma's house a lot. Auntie took favor to this kid. Not to say that they neglected this kid, right? But just like this kid is walking their walk. This kid is walking their walk, right? And unfortunately, sometimes, things just don't rub off on the people, the same way. But thankfully, in this situation, grandma and auntie was able to rub off on this kid, even though this kid's parents turned sour, right? They were still able to save them and deliver them, right? Pray for them, influence them in a way to where they're saved, right? Okay, so you kind of get where I'm going with this a little bit, right? All right, so it's another example. Where's it at? Okay. All right, so this situation, right? Again, this family, they are tainted. They are bad, right? They are full of demonic spirits that's controlling them, that's operating in them, right? So therefore, their interactions, every one of these, their interactions in society, in this world, whether it's with co-workers, whether it's with each other, that's keeping them down and keeping them stuck as a group, because they have the spirit of lack, the spirit of poverty on them. So their lives reflect that, right? They're living in a situation that shows they're living in poverty. And for some reason they can't break out of it, right? It's a lot of lust and perversion going on in the family. You see a lot of them posting things or living their life out in ways that just shows perversion, right? They have the spirit of perversion. That's a generational curse that was passed down from their parents, right? And it's affecting the kids and then the grandkids, and it just keeps on going unless someone within this thing gets delivered, right? And then breaks the cycle, right? But that don't mean that just because this line got broken, that this line is, going to get broken, right? Because this line can carry on and keep on just passing down the generational curses. These same spirits, right? From generation to generation, right? Now, let's say this situation, right? This family, even though let's say even though he's from a good mother who's a godly mother, right? So somehow he turned bad. And the reason why he turned bad is because he linked up with a woman out of this family, right? This bad family then linked it, I don't know why he seemed necessary, but his discernment was off. Because he came from a loving Christian-based family, but his discernment was off, and something happened to where he fell for this woman, right? And slept with her, got married with her, had kids, and then she passed on the generational curses, the demonic spirits, right, onto him. Now their kids, right? Now their kids are tainted, even though he came from a God-fearing family, right? Now I'm gonna get deep with you right here. I'm gonna get real deep with you right here. This spirit had this family had a spirit of lust, of perversion on it. So let's say this woman was this about to get deep. Let's say she was molested as a child, right? So that type of wicked spirit of lust, right, of perversion was passed on to her. So they sleep together, right? So temptations can Temptations can befall on anyone. Anyone can fall victim of it. That's why you have to stay prayed up, stay connected to God, right? Because let's say this individual right here, this dude, right? This about to get deep, y'all. Let's say that demonic spirit come on to him, and somehow he goes off into perversion and entertain these wicked spirits, these thoughts, and let's say he turns around and molests his sister's child, right? I told you it's about to get deep. So he molests his niece or his nephew, right? Because he's afflicted with that wicked spirit of perversion, right? So then let's say his sister finds out about it, right? She was living a holy, righteous lifestyle, but she found out that her brother did that to her child. Now these wicked spirits is going to entice her to hate him, right? And the average person would say, yeah, of course I hate my brother for doing that, right? But what does God say? God says to love your enemies, right? I know it'll be hard. Trust me, I know it'll be hard to continue loving your brother knowing he did something like that to your child. I understand that. But the spiritual realm, you can't break these spiritual laws, right, that's in place. Because if she decides, with that knowledge that she has now, if she decides to hate her brother, she opens herself up to demonic spirits. Now she's entrapped, right? Now the spirit of hate comes on to her, and now she's afflicted because she didn't choose to love him and forgive him. Loving and forgiving him doesn't mean that you forget. Oh yeah, you could never come around my child again. And you're going to jail. Believe that. You're going to jail. I love you and I forgive you, but you're going to jail. You can never come around my child again, right? But I'm not going to let what you did taint me and allow me to be open up to demonic spirits, right? Because if I do that, now not only is my child potentially turned dark, right? Because now I've turned dark. So now I can't affect them like I'm supposed to and treat them and heal them through prayer and seek out the right ways of healing them. Now they remain dark, and then now I'm dark, and I'm not feeding my other kid, right, who wasn't molested in a way that's conducive to them, and now they could potentially turn dark, right, due to the spirits that's on me. Now these spirits that's on me is breaking out to my offspring, and it's passing down generational curses. It's breaking down generational curses. Now this whole side of the family is going left field. Unless someone, hopefully grandma, steps in and then like, daughter, I see what's going on. You have something going on. We need to pray. We need to deliver you of this, right? And step in and do something about it, right? So I have some other things I was going to say, but I think that really highlights it. The only thing I will end it is with this, right? Let me turn this back around. Right? The only thing I will end it with this, right? So the devil attacks the family, first of all. He attacks the family. Then the family affects the community. Then the community affects the city, right? The neighborhood, the city, and then the state, and then the world, right? And he's been good at that over hundreds and hundreds of years, and that's why we are where we are right now. So again, you have this spiritual virus that's going on behind the scenes, and we as a people, right, don't even see what's going on. And this virus is spread, sort of like COVID-19, how it spread to people without people even knowing it. You didn't even know that you was taking it in, and you 2 weeks later you found out you were sick, right? It's the same principle, right? So you got people out here operating in the flesh, not knowing that they have demonic spirits on them, and they infecting other people that they're dealing with, right? Especially if you deal with people in intimate ways, different things like that. If you lay down with people, that's definitely passing spirits on, right? If I have a demonic spirit on me and I'm going about and I'm causing chaos and confusion and I'm enticing people, that like I'm engaged in witchcraft, right? So let's say that I'm engaged in witchcraft, and I got a spirit that's trying to entice people to hate me, to envy me, right? So I'm going about and I'm at work and dealing with my coworkers or my neighbor or whatever the case is, right? And unbeknownst to me, the spirit is influencing me, right? So I might see something that my neighbor or my coworker did that's real small, but I blow it up and create a big scene out of it, right? Curse them out, do some other stuff, and that entices my coworker or my neighbor to have resentment towards me, to hate me. Like, man, what? And once they do that, they've opened themselves up. Snap, got them, got one, right? Because they open themselves up to that hate. When God is trying to tell us to love. That's why I told you it's so critical that you not just love for the other person, you got to love to protect yourself too. Because if you don't, then you're going to open yourself up to demonic spirits. And then the state that you're in, right, is going to be worse. And then it's going to branch out. And then you're going to take that same hate, right? Let's say I afflicted my neighbor like that. And then I caused them to hate me. Now a demonic spirit latch on to him. Now this neighbor of mine, he goes in and he's interacting with his wife. And all of a sudden, now him and his wife getting in arguments. It's frustration going in the house, right? Because my neighbor, he opened himself up to hate. And now that demonic spirit is over him. And now he's affecting his own family in his own house, right? It's deep, man. But like, one thing I could say is this. The dude that I was putting on, that I put on my timeline, like, he gives you the bride picture of how these spirits work, but I'm more into, like, I want to dive deep and understand it. And like I said, God gave me more and deeper revelations concerning it, because it's critical that you understand the root of it, how it happens and how it spreads, so you can tackle that and stop that, right? Nuh-uh, we ain't going for that no more. And even if it's going on in your life, now you're aware, and you can be like, okay, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. Or my brother or my sister, they dealing with this, they dealing with that. Now I know it's a demonic spirit on them. So we need to go to some type of ministry, some type of deliverance ministry. We need to huddle up together and fast and pray for a couple of days, right? And seek God so we can so they or me or whoever the case is can be delivered from this, right? We need to kill this, right? We need to stop these generational curses. And the only way you can do that is through knowledge, right? It says my people's perish do for lack of knowledge. Now that you know, right? You know, knowledge is power, right? Godly wisdom that's on a whole nother level. Now we really equipped, right? Like, now we're really powerful. Now we can really fight these demonic spirits that's trying to come up against us, right? And keep us stagnant, keep us in demonic behaviors and in opposition to God. Stuck, right? So, man, like, that's real deep, y'all. God revealed that to me and broke that down to me. And I'm like, whoa, I got to hit him with this, right? Got to hit him with this. Man, that's so deep, man. Like, and so I want to end that before I move on to the next subject with this, man. Right? Like, it's no coincidence, man. I'm just going to put on a few things and kind of highlight a few things, right? It's no coincidence, man, that, you know, you have a family right down the street from you that has nice car, nice house, handling their business right, and they appear to be isolated. Like, they don't really talk to a lot of people, but they clearly got it going on, though. And then, again, right down the street, it's 4 or 5 different families. They clearly don't have it going on. Their car is raggedy, their house is raggedy, not upkept, right? Their kids. Now, mind you, I'm not shooting at anybody in particular, but this is just the things that we need. Like, we have to have an honest conversation. That's why I said real talk. So don't get offended, right? But you have to examine yourself and you have to be honest with yourself, because honesty is the foundation of change, right? So hear me out, right? It's no coincidence that you might have these families down here, right? And their kids are out on the porch twerking for TikTok videos or views, right? Those are spirits of perversion, right? Like, you have to sit back, listen to me. You have to sit back and kind of figure out, how did these things come into play? Where did they get this from? Did they get it from me? Did they get it from their auntie, their uncle, right? Did they let's say even if I'm living right, but then my daughter, I see she's producing this type of stuff. That means that somewhere down the line, I might have let her get this device, and she's seeing this wicked stuff on TikTok, and these thoughts started coming in their mind, right? These perverted thoughts or whatever, and then she opened herself up to these spirits, and now she's portraying what these spirits would have her portray out into the world, right? So now that you know what I'm saying, like I said, you need to just step back and examine, like, was it from me? Was it for something that I let her see, let her entertain, let her participate in, right? Is it her friends that, that she linked up with school, right? Like, you have to be honest and examine, right? And then once you know and figure out what it is, then you have to cut that off. She's not going to like it. He's not going to like it. Oh, Ma, they're my friends, Ma. Your friends are leading you astray. I'm cutting that off. Executive order. You feel me? I'm cutting it off. It's not going to happen no more. Even if I got to move, right? I got to save you. So I'm cutting that off. Whatever stream I got to go through, right? To save my child, that's what I'm willing to do, right? Whatever I got to go through to deliver myself, right? So I can save my children and be a positive role model, a godly role model onto my children. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's going to be some work that's going to be involved with it. But like, we talking about heaven and hell here. We talking about eternal here, right? So you must put in the work, right? You must submit to God, release control to God so you can be healed. Seek him out. Ask for forgiveness. Right? Turn away from these different things. And it might not be easy to do it, and it's probably not going to happen overnight. But start seeking him, start asking for his deliverance, start repenting, right? Start moving towards him, even if it's baby steps, right? So you can start the process of being delivered from these generational curses, right? These wicked spirits that's trying to imprison you and your offspring, your family, right? So I hope that was, I really hope that was edifying to you guys, right? All right. So the other thing I wanted to add on to the family structure is this, right? So I keep on telling y'all, and it's even more words coming out now from other prophets and prophecies, right, about the things that's coming on to this nation in the world, famine, sickness, things like that. I've been telling y'all for months, right? I hope y'all been taking heed because it's coming, right? Like, you really need to start stacking up on things like food, right? Like different things that you're going to need, right? You need to start stacking up on this stuff. Like, I'm dead serious. And I would even take it to the stream of like, I would like this is just a major example. If you have a basement in your home, I would seal off a nice section in my basement and like concrete it off probably about like that high, right? Concrete it off like a large section, right? Like the size, maybe even half of the room. Put good soil and dirt, you know what I mean, in there, right? Like that good stuff, right? Good soil, dirt in there, right? And then start planting things. Tomatoes, right? Potatoes, right? Different things like that. Like, start a garden within your house. And the reason why I told you that is this, right? Because from the video I just watched this morning from the prophetess, right? Like the ground out in the world, like, you know what I'm saying, as far as like farmland and things like that, he's about to start chopping that off. Like, yeah, it's not going to grow, right? It's like, this is not going to grow. This is not going to grow. What do you do when God says that this farmland and this farmland is not going to grow, right? But I'm telling you this because hopefully you're a Christian, right? And even if you're not a Christian, hopefully you become a Christian before this happens, because he takes care of his. So if you're a Christian, just because all these farmlands is not producing their crops, he take care of his. So your crop, again, in your basement, the seeds that you plant, they'll be down there producing every week type stuff. And you'll be baffled like, man, this stuff is just keep on producing. Me and my family, all right, we eating. Even though it's a famine going on and the whole world, you know what I'm saying, has chaos going on, right? Like, God will take care of it. His supernatural power can come down and take care of you and your family. But you want to make sure you structure yourself in a way to where he can provide for you, right? You want to make sure that, just like the woman with the jars, right? He told her, or the prophet told her, God told the prophet to tell her to take the jar, to go around to your neighbors and get jars, right? And then they started pouring the oil in, right? And it kept on filling up, and they filled up all the jars. That was supernatural provision from God, right? He can sustain you in the midst of a family, but make sure you set yourself up to where he can actually bless you through an avenue, right? And then you want to get things, you know what I mean, like a solar generator, right? But then even with that though, make sure you get some stuff that you can put over your windows that's black, right? Because if all the power go out in the city or across the nation, you don't want to stand out like a sore thumb, and your house is all lit up because you got this solar solar power generator, right? And now everybody like see your house shining from 2 blocks away. No, you want to have black windows, right? To where you got light within the house, but nobody can see, right? And even test it down, right? You know what I mean? Like, get situated to where your family is good, right? Like, be creative. Pray to God. Ask him for different ways, right? You know what I'm saying? To where you can be creative and things, you know what I'm saying, that you can do to get yourself in position for what's coming, right? Start thinking along these lines now, today. Start thinking along these lines today, right? Start investing in any little extra change that you got from your paychecks. Start investing in things like rice, right? Things that's going to be filling, right? Peanut butter, right? Jars of peanut butter. Stack up your whole pantry with things like that. Forget the cereal and all this other stuff that don't last that long and that's not really filling. Start stacking up on canned goods. Different things that's really going to sustain you and your family moving forward. I'm dead serious. You want to do this, right? So that's enough of that, right? Let's move on to, because it's already been 47 minutes. I'm gonna try to breeze through this, right? Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna hit on this real quick, right? Why do I keep on pushing Trump out there, and then you might perceive that I'm bashing Kamala Harris, right? So I don't want to offend no one, and I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. Right? So first of all, you have to understand this. God revealed to me that she's a witch. Right? That's first and foremost. Right? I knew it was something there anyway, but then once he revealed that to me, I'm like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now, right? Her policies. If you're a Christian, now I'm speaking to Christians. If you're not a Christian, then this probably not going to resonate with you. I mean, what can I say, right? So I'm speaking to Christians. So the problem that I see that's going on is this. The Democratic Party has painted Donald Trump as the evil villain, and we are not supposed to vote for him, and this and this and this and this and that, right? And they attack his character. They cannot attack his policy stances from when he was in office, because if you actually do the research, you understand that he actually did his thing when he was in office, right? A lot of people try to point out the border wall and that he wasn't successful in making it happen, but he attempted to do that, right? And he had that set in motion, and then day one, Biden stopped it, right? So that's like different little things. And then not only that, no president is perfect. Like, they go in wanting to do a lot of things, but they're not able to accomplish everything that they want to, especially him, since he only had 4 years to do it, right? So there you have it, right? But that's not where I'm going with this entirely. So they can't really attack him on his policies, because when he went in there, he did a lot of good things, right? So they try to attack him on his character. Oh, he did this. And I heard people saying that he raped some women and this and that, right? I'm not taking anything away from anything that he may or may have not done pertaining to his character, right? And his personal interactions with individuals, right, that he interacted with in his life, right? I'm not taking it. I'm not offending him or anything like that. I'm talking about the people that we're dealing with, right? As far as their policy stances. That's what we need to be voting for. And then on the flip side of that, I can point to Kamala Harris and say her character is not good either, right? Like she lies, she blatantly lies, and she does all this wicked stuff, right? Like as far as her policy stances, right? Like that's what I'm pointing to, right? Again, that's what I'm pointing to. So that's what I'm judging off of and basing my vote off of. Where do they stand on policy, right? Where do they stand on in any resemblance in relation to God? That's really important to me, right? So you have one over here. They've shown Donald Trump. They've shown that they implemented good policies whenever they was in office, right? They're promoting good policies now that's aligned or more so aligned with biblical principles that I value, right? And that any Christian should value, right? They're not afraid to speak upon Jesus and God and honor Christians, right? When you have, and then over here you have someone who implement policies that's not aligned with biblical principles, right? Abortion, gay rights, trans rights, trying to indoctrinate children, right, and lead them astray and lead them into eternal condemnation if they stay within that state and die in that physical state, right? And then yelling out to Christians at your rally, y'all at the wrong rally, right? Even though there's two people that yell two different things, right? She responded to both of them because she said y'all are at the wrong rally. She heard both of them and what they said, and she said y'all. She didn't say, oh, well, you that said this and this and that, you at the wrong rally, right? She said y'all, right? So it's no defense about it, right? And then you come on after the fact now and try to do an interview with on CNN, right, with Anderson Cooper, where you're talking about, oh yeah, well, I was raised up in the church and this and that, and you're stumbling over your words, right? Like it don't add up. I see through it. I talk about you. I pray once a day, sometimes twice a day. You're not a genuine Christian. I'm just gonna call it what it is, right? So again, you're lying. You continue to lie, and at least with Donald Trump, we know who he is, right? We know who he is, right? And that's not to say that he hasn't lied either, right? He exaggerates, he lies, right? But largely, you can still know like who he is, right? Like as far as what he stands for, what he does, like, and what he backs up. Again, he backs up these different policies that was actually good for this nation when he was in the presidency, right? So, and then not only that, those policies align with biblical principles. So that's why I keep on pressing him out there, right? And then that's why I keep on highlighting the inconsistency with her, right? The demonic stuff associated with her, right? Because we are supposed to call out evil. We're not supposed to call evil good, right? And good evil, right? And we're not supposed to align ourselves with that, period, right? So again, what I find is this. People try to justify backing her by trying to point to his character flaws that they see, instead of pointing to the actual policies that's going to actually affect the land, right? That's actually going to affect people, right? She's coming with policies that's wicked, that's demonic, that's going to lead people astray, that lead people away from Christ, right? Where he coming in with policies, right, that's going to build people up. He's highlighting the Christian community, right? He just made a interview last week or a couple of days ago where he said that we're going to stop all this wicked stuff from going on. A bold statement to make just before the election. That's a bold statement to make, right? So again, he aligning himself with biblical principles. That's why we as Christians, and that's why I post the things that I post on my page, because you're supposed to call this stuff out, right? You're supposed to call it out. Period. That's why I do what I do, right? And it's so regardless of the fact, I'm not necessarily trying to tell you who to vote for. However, I am trying to tell you that if you professing to be a Christian, you need to truly pray and examine these individuals in relation to biblical principles and not get caught up on feelings, emotions, or what the wicked people, the Democratic Party is wicked, are telling you, right? Of course, they are going to lash out at anybody that opposes their agenda, right? Of course. And if you drink the Kool-Aid, then you're gonna go with that and judge this dude off of his character, which you might be rightfully so to do. But forget all that. That shouldn't be the reason why you vote this way instead of this way. What does their policies stand on, right? In relation to biblical principles, which is what should be your guiding force. Period. That's the only point I'm trying to make. Now, whether or not you see the correlation there or not, that's between you and God. And we are going to answer one day for the choices and the things that we say and all that, right? So that's the only thing I'm appealing to you about, right? You could take it or leave it. That, again, you have a free will to do what you're going to do, right? You have a free will to vote and do what you want to do, right? I feel good that I'm putting out there the truth, and I'm gonna continue to put the truth out there, whether somebody take it or not, right? That's where I stand. That's where I stand at on it, right? Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so I believe that's it from this video, right? Almost an hour. What else can I say, man? What else can I say, man? We at the end of October, man. It's a lot of things that's been said in the past, prophetic words, right? That hasn't come to light yet. And I'm sitting back like, it's in God's hands, right? But one thing I will say is this: I've been praying against the severity of things, which is what we're supposed to do when we get prophetic words, to try to avert things. And again, like I said in other videos, sometimes it's not going to be averted. Like, God is going to come with it. And a lot of things I have said is on that level to where it's not going to be prayed away, or it can't be prayed away. But yet we still haven't seen them come to life yet. And there might be some people like, man, you said some things and this and that, and haven't come to life yet. It's on God's timing, right? And to that effect, I'll say this, right? Sometime you have to know the prophetic gift. Sometime you can receive a word, right? And that word is going to come to pass, but it might be a word that you receive and you feel the urgency of it, but God's timeline is not on it's not the same as ours. So I can give a word to you today that might seem timely, but yet that word don't come to life for 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like, real talk. Like, you have to understand the prophetic gift, right? But that don't take away the fact that that word is valid. That means that we are supposed to pray. That means God is long suffering. He's patient. He's kind, right? He's giving us a chance, right? All these things come into play, and they can show up in different ways considering a specific prophecy, right? So again, one thing I need to state though, as far as the prophecies are concerned, we have to be careful. I have to be careful when I receive a word to make sure I pray, confirm that word, right? But not only that, also try not to put timetables on things, right? Try not to box the word in. Because if I put a time, like let's say, okay, I got this word and I think it's going to happen this month, next month, right? And then next month come and the word don't come through, right? People can easily say, rightfully so, he's a false prophet. He gave a false word. And then let's say a year from now, the word actually come to pass. And now I'm like, hey, yeah, I told y'all. But everybody it's already been settled in everybody's mind, right? That I gave a false word, right, a year ago. Not knowing that now the word is coming to life. And that's the appointed time that it was going to come. But I got overzealous and I'm like, oh, it's a now word. It's going to happen now. It's going to happen soon, right? Right? Again, I'm not in any way trying to wiggle myself out of any type of word that I gave, right? Because it is some words that I believe that are for the now, that are coming, that haven't came yet. And we're going to see them here soon. I really believe that, right? But I'm just trying to give you a broader understanding as far as the prophetic gift and how things can go off alignment, or somebody can view a prophetic word or a prophet and with a side eye because they assumed that this word was here and now. And even that prophet assumed that, and he gave that word and gave that impression that it was coming soon, right? When in actuality it's not. So when it doesn't happen, now everybody looking at them like, man, yeah, all right, you know what I mean? And I get that, right? But again, this piece right here is just to further highlight the fact that you have to understand a prophetic gift. It's more complicated than what you think, right? And I'm learning it. I'm not trying to take anything away from any word that I gave out, but I am new to this prophetic gift, like actually stepping into it fully and diving into it, right? And I'm learning as I grow. So I would tell you this. With that being said, and you're supposed to do this with anybody anyway, but make sure you take any word, even myself, that someone gives to you to the Lord and pray, right? And get confirmation from the Lord, right? But again, you have to be actually connected to him and continuous prayer, right? For that to happen. So there have you, right? I love you guys. And until next time, peace out.